But for those people who are, fearful and trying to do more for themselves or wanting to go to another level, um, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? And that's what I asked myself back in the day with Julie. Who am I not to beat her? For you are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Some of us always try to make ourselves smaller and quiet. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Chrome, but I guess I was on a different one. It clearly told me.
Nice. Very nice.
How are you, Fernando?
I'm doing very good, and much better now. I'm really enjoying this thing that I started in these conversations.
I think,
Learning a lot, and well,
yeah, I've watched them all. I watched
oh
JT.
yeah,
Yeah,
whoa,
I watched, I watched you and your wife's first, like last month, and I just saw Jay did one, and I was like, what?
Oof.
This is amazing. You're doing awesome.
Oh, thanks. Because coming from you, that is a professional actress. Come on, not,
No,
not actually,
everybody,
but I don't have any presence at all.
no, no. And I love the fact that you're challenging yourself. Because I think that you're doing something that, like Jay teaches, do hard things. If it's hard for you and you're doing it, you're doing it. So
Yes,
kudos to you. That's
exactly that. Thank you. Yeah, and I've been telling that I thought that starting with my wife because yeah, well, it's my wife, but I was really nervous because it was the first experience, and yeah, maybe the emotional attachment built on me. I don't know, but
yeah, that was a good one. And it's cool that you started out with her, but I didn't think like you were nervous, just you're figuring it out or whatever. But I mean, it was great. I enjoyed that one. I think I listened to that one a month or so ago or whenever, like last.
yes,
Yeah.
despite of me being nervous, my wife is doing awesome. She's been transforming, changing a lot, and she's right now in the she's doing the personal coaching with Jay. So it's been
Okay.
6 months now, and wow, she's committed. She's doing amazing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I really recommend that.
He's doing the coaching with Jay. I mean, yeah, Jay's amazing. I was on his
He
call. I
is.
do his calls. I was on his call last week after I got back from the event. Were you at the event?
No, I couldn't.
Because somebody came to me and I was like, he was like, hi, and I was like, and I was like, that's not Fernando. Fernando, but they say everybody has a twin. So Fernando, I swear I saw your twin, and I
Oh,
was like, Fernando's
it
not here.
must now. I want to see it.
Yeah, I was like, that's not Fernando. Because remember, I had emailed you or said, hey, I wish I could see you, in Sarasota, and I said, Erin, that's not him because you remember you emailed him and he said he's not going to be there. So I said,
Yeah.
everybody has a twin, so I think I found your twin, sir.
Doppelganger, right?
Doppelganger. He was there. I don't know who it was.
Whoa, that's crazy. Anyway, so appreciate it. We have here Erin Frigo, another amazing woman. My intention here is to keep coming and bringing this amazing woman because I wish you guys could rule the world because it's much better than men. I'm for that. So you guys are much better than men. Anyway,
Oh, wow.
uh,
That's a big compliment. Are we recording already? Oh my gosh.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I told you I don't want to miss anything.
Oh,
So
she
Erin
wanted
Frigo.
a powwow before. Okay. All right. I didn't know.
You,
Now you're all
you,
digging in front of the camera. Okay.
what? No, it's like I said, it's
Put
supposed to
that
be
off at the
something
beginning.
like we are. I'm having coffee, but we could be having beer or wine or whatever. So
I love it.
yeah, Erin, what I know from you is you are an actress. I still are. I don't know. I want to find out. And of course, that's where we met. You are a commercial real estate investor now, operator. And well, how's the year treating you so far? What are you working on? And yeah, we'll get to other things there. But yeah, tell me how things are going.
2025 is going well. You know me, we met through, the real estate world. So on that end, it's going well as it can be. We met through multifamily. Um,
Yeah,
Trying to, pencil out deals if we're, speaking specifically about real estate. Um, in the meantime, while that's, we're waiting for that to happen for deals to, make sense. I've been looking into mobile home parks and assisted living as ways to kind of diversify within commercial real estate. So not just sitting on the sidelines. Those are really excellent asset classes to get into. And I don't know if you want
yeah,
to talk about them, we can. But so on the real estate tip, that's kind of what I've been doing. As you know, I just got back from the event where I met you through, which is the Warrior group that we're both a part of. Um, that was really great. That was the second one that I've ever been to. So that was great to see a lot of people instead of this little box here, this little Zoom
yeah.
we have, to meet people in person and, to break bread with them. Um, you mentioned I'm an actress. Yeah. How's that going? Well, Hollywood is going through a transformation. So right now, my agent will send me auditions, and they're few and far between now because of AI. And I know AI in real estate helps us,
Yeah.
but as an actor, if AI, if we're signing off on contracts that wants to use our likeness and pay us for one session and then use our likeness, our presence, our being, and our voice and our movements, and we sign off on that, and AI can use it in perpetuity. That means we only get one session from that gig, and then we're never used again. So that would mean we wouldn't get second and third and fourth and fifth times on set. They can create whole characters now from learning, watching our body and our movements and hearing our voice. And it's helping in some areas, I would say, maybe with editing, but it's taking a lot of people's. It can take a lot of people's jobs. So when our contract is up, that's why we had a strike a few years ago, and it went on for so long. One of the things we were trying to settle was about AI. So
Whoa, that's I
yeah,
didn't know that. First of all, um, it's been another transformation. Like I explained to people because I'm from the IT world and I'm living that where I work today. Uh, I can tell you that yes, it's a big transformation. It's maybe the last one. I'm not good in history, so let's point that out. But I know the last one, maybe the industrialization, and as that, it's another transformation. We have to find our ways. But whoa, so they are capturing your image. Uh, so
yeah, we
the
have.
contracts, can't you do like some kind of contract that okay, AI will do my job, it will use my image, so I want X amount.
Uh, it's funny you say that. Yeah, we really have to make sure that we read just like in real estate. We have Merrill for that or other lawyers, um, to really make sure that our contracts are read. Um, the last audition I had, like right before I left, was it would have been a really great gig, but it's set up front because I don't think they want to be held liable for trying to squeeze it in there, make it small in the small print. It said, your voice will be used to help train AI. So we don't want to sign off on that because if somebody, takes my timbre, my cadence of my voice and how I speak, then they could replicate my voice forever if I sign off on that contract. And I would work that one time and I wouldn't get residuals. I'm signing basically everything away. But they put it up front. A lot of times they don't. You have to make sure that your contracts are read because once you sign it,
Okay.
you're kind of
Yeah.
giving that power away. And that's
Yeah.
death to an actor's career.
So
Whether
how
it
do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
How do you think we feel about that? We don't believe that. I mean, like I said, in real estate, I mean, AI is really helping to do a lot of things for us, and that's
Yeah.
great. But not as an actor. I mean, if you're gonna do one gig and not have any gigs after that, or have any other times on set, or they're not needing you because you've signed off, and you're helping to train the AI, how to move like you and how to be mm, express like you do, and then speak like you do, you're signing away future work for
Yeah.
yourself. So
Yeah.
I think our strike was 2023, was it? 22, 23. And it went on for 6 months. And before that was the writer's strike. The directors, I think, averted a strike at the last moment. But one of the big hangups was AI, especially for
Oh.
and the writers, honestly, like, what we're doing did you it's a whole conversation, but what they're doing now is to create these great movies that we love, right? Think of your favorite movie. What's your favorite movie? Your wife have a favorite movie?
Yeah, I do, but it didn't use AI. It's
So,
Matrix, the Matrix.
but okay, so The Matrix. Think of The Matrix, or think of any movie that you has an underdog in it. Just any great movie like The Godfather or Scarface. It's roller coaster of emotions, right? Now what they're doing
Uh-huh.
is they're taking because AI is not sentient. It doesn't have human emotions. But what they're doing to train it is now they're taking great scripts from TV. Some of the great you think of the Friends, you think of the Seinfelds, all those greats. They're taking great movies that we love and feeding into AI and teaching it how to be sentient, to write with he, like human emotions and feelings, because that's one of the things it can't do because it's not real. And it can spit out
Yes.
a script. It can spit out a script just as quickly as you use ChatGPT. So that's taking a writer's job.
Wow.
That's
I
taking
can imagine that because with documentation, oh, it's amazing. I'm using it a lot.
Yeah, and
But
it's great
man,
for us, but not it's taking writers' jobs away. My friend who's a voiceover artist, they can AI. You can give your voice to AI. Like if somebody calls me on my phone right now and you pick up, there's ways to capture people's voices, which they can use to make it sound like you. And you've heard of them using it to call, like my mom or my dad, and say, "Hey, hey, Dad, I'm in trouble. I need some help," or whatever, and getting money out of people because it's learned your voice. So
yeah,
instead of using voiceover artists, it can learn your voice. It can match your speech pattern, your cadence, your timbre, the sound of it, and it could do voiceovers, and it no longer has to pay a real person, and it could do
yeah,
commercials, film promotions, all sorts of things. So that's death
yeah,
to voiceover artist and their body of work
yeah.
going forward.
And maybe my question is too early, but what do you think you guys can do to overcome that challenge?
Well, we're SAG and AFTRA. Those are the actors unions. Um, the Screen Actors Guild is really, really going to bat for us the best that they can. When our contract is due, we just signed the commercial audition contract. I think right before I went to Sarasota. Um, we're really trying to be in front of that and really protect the actor through the contracts. And if not, then we would strike again. But what that strike has done after COVID, then we had the strike. Now LA had the fires in January.
Yeah,
Now we're having a little unrest here going on with what the administration is doing. It's really
yeah,
taking a toll on Hollywood. Hollywood is not what it used to be. Um, they're doing productions. A lot of productions are leaving LA. They're doing them in Canada. They're doing them over in like Switzerland, just other parts of the world with costing less, less permits that they, less hold up on the permits. So a lot of productions are leaving LA, which is not good. We're known as like the entertainment mecca. And a lot of the economy that supports Los Angeles is from Hollywood. And the tourists that
Yeah.
come, the productions we used to do here, a lot of the sound stages are quiet. A lot of like CBS, just so many big stages are quiet. They used to have productions all around the uh the the lot, and there might be one show filming now, if any.
Wow. So basically, you're only facing challenges right now in the
Yeah.
acting world and the real estate because, yeah, I know I'm in that as well. Ah,
You
so
do.
should we?
You have to do like I never like watched Friends, but I have a lot of people who love Friends. And when
Oh,
I
yeah, you never watched it?
I know I did. I've seen episodes of it, but I wasn't like I know. I have other shows that I watch, but it's so funny. All my friends are like, "You don't watch it." But when I introduced my acting community to the fact that I'm doing real estate on my Instagram page, I did a quick, like, 60-second video, and I used a
Yeah,
clip
I saw it. It's
from Friends.
great.
I said, "You have to pivot," right? Remember the famous scene? Pivot, pivot.
Yeah, I see it.
It's funny because I'm going to be selling my couch soon, and that's going to be pivoting out of my place here. But yeah, you have to pivot. So I'm glad I'm in real estate, and I
Yeah,
honestly wish I would have been in real estate before, Fernando, because I could be educating actors, directors, people behind the scenes, front of the scenes about investing. And
yeah,
when the strike happened, maybe they could have had investments and had, income coming in during that time, because a lot of people, some people, they've interviewed them, some people have had to, resort to driving for Uber. Some people have talked about the fact that they're going to lose their homes. Some people have talked about holding off and dipping into their child's college education to pay for things when they've been out of writing jobs for over a year.
yeah.
So it's
Wow.
through a time. We'll see where it lands. We'll see. They're trying to get Governor Gavin Newsom. He's our governor, to bring some incentives to California to help revive and restore what's happened in Hollywood. But some people think it's a little too late, little too late. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's what's going on there.
And so you are pivoting.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not leaving the acting career behind, as I understand, but
Yes.
you're kind of pivoting.
Yes.
What this change, this pivoting? Um what I want to ask here is: are you reusing some of your knowledge from acting? How? What are the things? What are the transformation and changes that you are facing with this pivot?
I love that question. Thank you. That's such a good question. That is such a good question. Okay. Um, One of the things, obviously, from the beginning, I think of right away is mindset. To come out here, I'm not from Los Angeles. I'm from the Midwest, and I know coming out here, I came out here to go to school, to go to college, and I came out here by myself. And to do that, to leave my, I have a big family. There's 6 kids in my family, and my mom and dad. To come out here by myself, you kind of have to have some balls, as they say, to come by yourself. Like, I don't have a family that lives here that I could move to and live with. So I would have to say the mindset that, you know, and people say that acting is like, well, how can you do that? It's such a hard profession. Same thing with real estate. Like, people would say, why are you doing real estate? I mean, nothing's penciling out right now. You just have to have the spirit of resilience to bounce back, to keep going, and to encourage yourself. I'm a big encourager of myself, and as well as, others that are in the industry with me as well. Um, and then also too, one of the things they teach us in our acting is, you can't be a success if you're a secret. So they teach you, in acting, the three A's, one of the acting schools I was at, the three A's, attitude, your acting, and your administration. So your attitude, I feel like, is my mindset and how I look at my outlook on things. And my administration, how I handle my business. Do I go after the directors I want to work with? Do I go after that casting director? Um, in real estate, the same thing. Like Rod always tells us, and I said that as one of my seminars when I was on the panel last week. Um, and capital raising in real estate as a whole, you can't be a success if you're a secret. And I wasn't telling everybody, hey, I'm doing real estate now. I'm really getting into the commercial world. I'm an apartment syndicator. I'm buying, properties, large apartment complexes with others. And I'm inviting other people to partner with us. I wasn't telling people because I thought they wouldn't. I thought a lot of things, but one of the things I didn't tell my acting community is because I thought, people will think, "Oh, you're chasing a shiny object. Oh, you were doing acting and now you're doing real estate." And I'm like, "No, it's not a shiny object. We're not in this mentorship to be chasing a shiny object. This is what I'm really pursuing." But now that I've made that video, which you probably saw, it was a fun way to introduce to them, and it was received so well from my friends. And another thing too, I didn't tell my family. I thought my big brothers, they're doctors and doing well. I thought they'd look at me like, oh, there's little sister again, like doing what she does. And I'm like, no. And they say, like, when you get into capital raising, I don't know if you've capital raised, but sometimes the hardest people to raise capital from are from your family and your friends because they know you, Fernando, as Fernando, husband, or Fernando, the tech person, or Fernando, the father, or Fernando, our little neighbor from down the street back in the day, or whatever.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
you're doing something big like, real estate. They're like, oh, now he's dabbling in that. And I just, kind of was maybe put that roadblock in my mind. But then I said, you have to remove that roadblock. I told my family and they were very happy about it. Um, and so, yeah, so I would say there's a lot of things that are the same, just making yourself present in acting and known, and same thing with real estate, present and making what you do as an occupation known, and being resilient because it's going to go up and down.
Yeah.
It is down right now, but we're hoping it will come back. Real estate and multifamily is kind of like holding right now, but I've learned from all these people that it's a cycle.
Yeah,
Rod,
it is.
cycle. It's going to come back. So you just got to be strong enough and hang in there to weather the storm.
Yeah. And in terms of one thing you said, commercial real estate, there are a lot of shiny objects, but I'm framing that as opportunities because, as you said, you could go to RV park, assisted living, uh,
Storage.
VAs,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um,
Car wash,
I don't
storage,
know, car wash or storage, yes, or
flat.
whatever. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, it's hard to where am I gonna focus, right? But yeah, yeah, and the family, yeah. Well, I don't even mention my family because, yeah, they put you a label and that's it. But well, it's our job to change their minds.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, above what you said, I would want to ask you uh, resilience. You said resilience, bounce back. How do you keep motivated?
You know what? Honestly, and I love that question too. Honestly, for me, it's a relationship that I have with somebody bigger than me, my higher power, which for me is God, is Jesus. And on Sundays, I go to church, and and also studying the Word. You know, I know that there's something bigger than me, so I stay motivated by reading the Word, which is very encouraging. And, I believe that you have a dream. Your wife has a dream. I have a dream. I have dreams, plural. I don't have one. I'm going to be honest. I have dreams. And you know what I mean? And I believe that those were put inside of me before I was even born. You know what I mean? Before I was even the period at the end of a sentence in my mom's belly. That those dreams are given to us for a reason, and you have to have faith that those will come to fruition. So faith in what? My faith is in God, in Jesus. And so when I go to church, there it's just very encouraging. And one of the things they say, our pastor says, be careful who you tell your dreams to, because not everybody can handle them. Um,
Yeah.
it's even scriptural. It says, don't cast your pearls, like, your dreams, your goals, your goods before swine, not calling people pigs, but before people that are naysayers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as they say, as you're trying to, I always think of this, as you're trying to reach higher and higher and go for the top, why not go for the top? You mean there's too many people here on the bottom level. It's crowded down here. But a lot of people,
Yeah.
what is that, the crab in the barrel sort of thing? As you're starting to climb, other people that are around you might be pulling you back down into the bucket because they don't want you to succeed. Have you ever heard that?
Uh,
I think it's called the crab.
I think it's some kind. I think I know about a rat. I think a rat in the. No. Yeah. No. I don't know.
Well, there's an express there's a, I think it's called like the crab in the barrel, where there's all these crabs in this bucket, and as you start to
Oh.
climb and do better for yourself, you're trying to climb out of the bucket, right? As you're trying to climb up, climb the ladder of success, or climb the ladder of doing things for yourself and making things come to fruition. The jealous crabs down below, that's why they say be careful who you surround yourself with. The
Yeah.
five
Yeah.
closest friends are very important. There are going to be other crabs that are just going to grab that leg as you're just about to climb over the top of the bucket, and they're going to pull you back down, because some people don't want you to succeed. They don't want you
Yeah.
to do better than them, because when they look at you doing well, it it's a reflection of themselves, like, wow, look what I could be doing, but I don't want to
Yeah.
try hard. It's just too hard. Or look at they're striving for. No, they can't leave us, pulling them down, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It does. It says more about them than
Yeah,
about you.
exactly.
I would what I would add, what I agree 100% with everything you said. What I would add is also energy, right? That's why we are able to put this positive energy out there,
Yes. Yes.
and that makes sense. That make totally different. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they say, you want to be around people that vibrate highly, if you're speaking just on the energy level. Um, I know that my energy source comes from him, and he's like the highest vibrator, vibrating, and giving me that energy. Um, and I know you say energy. I look at energy in two ways, exactly what you're talking about. But to achieve our goals and go after what we want, you have to have a lot of energy. You know what I mean? A lot of physical energy. And honestly, Fernando, I guess I've noticed from being around a lot of my other friends that I have a lot of energy. Some of my friends will kind of fizzle out, like when we're out before I do, or going after things before I do. And I have more energy. And I'm like, okay, why
Yeah.
don't you give me this energy? Maybe he knew coming out to LA to get into in front of the camera work as an actress, going to college out here, supporting myself, paying my way through school, graduating loan free because I worked my off during school. um, Getting into real estate, that it was going to take a lot of energy, but I guess I'm finding more energy than the average person. And that's not like a brag. I'm noticing
No.
that when people are like, oh my
Yeah.
God, are you tired yet? I do get tired, but yeah. So this energy, and then also the energy you talked about too, are,
Yeah. No. That definitely, and it's kind of lonely. Those of us that has this kind of aspirations and
yeah.
ambitions, it's kind of lonely. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And it's kind of lonely, and sometimes it's very unsexy. Like I was telling somebody the other day, like people are like, oh, like, I don't hang out with my friends as much as I'd like to because I'm busy. I People are like, "Well, how come you're not dating somebody?" or "How come blah, blah, blah?" And I'm like, "I'm dating somebody. I'm dating my laptop. I have a 3 o'clock Zoom today. I have a 4 o'clock. I'm meeting with Fernando. Then I'm on a co-GP call. Then I'm on this. Then I'm underwriting." It's all like I'm kissing my laptop daily for hours and hours. It's a relationship. So sometimes
Yeah.
I have to close it and walk away. But it is kind of lonely when I'm here all the time doing this. But like Rod says, and I have to realize this, whew, I'm doing now what most people won't, so I can live later like most people can't.
Yes. Yes. That's what we are looking for, and I have no doubt that we will achieve that.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
honestly, and I know this maybe sounds, I don't know, like I think of, okay, think of your, in your now and in your future. Like I'll have some friends, like I was just listening to Earl Nightingale before this, and he was talking about, most of people who are, like older, they never thought about where they'd be. Some of them thought they'd retire and be able to do what they wanted, but some of them are finding out that they're working at Walmart or McDonald's to make ends meet, and nothing wrong with those two places, of employment. But they never thought at that stage in life that they'd have to have some sort of supplemental. And sometimes I think about, I want to do for myself so I wouldn't have to do that. Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. But you know what I mean? And
I do.
and I think of my friends like sometimes in the future, like I don't want that for them, but you think back like they're going to say, why can't we hang out tonight? Or why can't we do this? And I'm like, well, I'm going to a conference. I'm doing this. I'm preparing a deck to share in a webinar or whatever. I'm checking out property. And maybe later on, they'll say, now I understand what you were doing. I
Yeah.
understand as they're, maybe working, 20, 30, 40 years down the line or whatever,
Exactly. Exactly.
which makes me
Um,
sad because I don't wish that on anybody.
uh,
You know what I mean? Like when
but
you
we
walk into
can.
a place and you see like we call them smiling people greeters, and it might be, somebody, who's older and they need to have a job, or maybe they just want to have one. There's a difference between want and need, but if they need to, and they probably never thought they would have to do that. So I'm doing now what, we got to do so we can live like we want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we think differently. That's all. I don't know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh,
It's funny. It's
and yeah, please. No, go, go,
go ahead.
go.
No, no, no. I'll mention something about what you said when you're finished.
No, I wasn't gonna say no, no. You go first.
Well, you mentioned maybe they think differently. You're absolutely correct. I After the event in Sarasota, I flew out to the Midwest for some time away, and I have a friend who comes from Canada, and just being around her now, and I love my friends, but I'm noticing the more I get involved deeper in going after my goals and real estate and really just seeking things that I come to fruition, things that I never thought I would be doing, which I'm really excited about. Like we were hanging out and just speaking to my friend, and keep in mind that I love my friend, but she didn't talk about anything that she wanted in the future. And like I would ask her, like, do you want to do this? Do you have other aspirations other than what she does? And just, going home and scrolling online. Now I know we all scroll on our phones and online, you know what I mean? It's a time suck, all of our apps. I get that. But she told me one day she was on like online for like so long. And I'm not saying because I've gotten stuck in that. But just talking to her and they say, like, now I understand like what Rod says, and other people do too. Like your five closest friends are kind of like the summation of what your network could be. um, and just listening to her, I was like, wow, did I used to be this? Or how about this? I just could see how much I've grown now being a part of this group and meeting people like you and just wanting more and expecting more for myself and reaching for more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Totally, I totally get it.
For
Yeah.
my friend because I love her, but just hearing her that there was not she wasn't reaching for anything. Like, she was content and complacent to be here. And she even said it. She said, her job is a no-brainer. So meaning she could go to work and be on autopilot and not be learning and growing, which was for me a red
Uh,
flag, you know?
yeah, I
Does that make sense?
got a lot of reflection. Yeah, yes, totally. I got a lot of reflections like that with my wife constantly here. Um, and to some point, it's like I've been doing some hikings, and to some point, it's like that. You get to a point in the hiking where you are almost in the summit, and depending on and I go kind of fast because well, uh, I'm fit to a point that I'm able to overcome people.
Sure.
It's not a competition. It's just the way I'm walking, and eventually you leave those behind. So
Mm.
what can you do? It's a lot like so in these reflections, I kind of do comparisons,
Yes.
and yeah,
The
so
visual
we
from
want to reach there, and they are okay being there. So
yeah.
yeah,
That was that what you said was so good because I was envisioning you going and climbing higher, and I remember Jay talking about him climbing, to Mount, uh
he went to Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu, and just seeing you climb when you were talking about that and seeing Jay climbing and people who are maybe not as like Rod says, you have to be fit. Tony Robbins says you have to be fit. In fact, I think I went to go see Tony Robbins after the boot camp in November.
I
After
remember.
yeah, Tony at that, it was Unleash the Power Within. That was the event, and he was saying he has like a business event that you could go to as well. But he says on I think the fourth or fifth day of this event, he said, "You guys, for where you guys want to go in your life and in your business, you have to be fit, physically fit." So we had somebody come out and talk to us about eating and how we eat as Americans. I know you're not you're not living in America, but the stuff that's in our food is horrible and what it does to our bodies. He had somebody come out and talk about sprouting, so I have some sprouts growing. They grow in 5 days and I use them in sandwiches and all sorts of stuff. But food is medicine and just being physically fit. So the fact that you say you're a fit person and I saw you walking up that hill, and whether it's, a wife, a friend, a family member, not everybody's going to be able to go where we go.
Yes.
And if it were that easy, everybody would do it. But I think some people, and I've been guilty of it until I called myself on the carpet, and other people that I admire called me on the carpet as I saw them succeed. If I stay where it's comfortable, Rod always says, get uncomfortable in real estate. If you stay where it's comfortable, you're not going to grow. You're not going to go to the heights that you want to go. I'll be where the crowd is. And like, Les Brown, I don't know if you've ever listened to him. He's a great motivational speaker. He says there's a lot of people on the floor level, on the lobby level. But if you want to go to that penthouse, you know, you got to change some things.
Yeah,
And you got to be physically fit, is what Tony Robbins was saying. So, yeah,
it makes a difference. I can tell it makes a difference. Uh,
absolutely.
gives you the energy. Um, yeah. Well, I don't know. Um, my I used to do. I think I used to do triathlons, but I did my last long one last year, and now I'm just doing. I say just, but it's not just. I'm dedicating more towards gym.
Oh, the gym.
So what I'm thinking now is building muscle. So it's a kind of savings account for my body because as we age, we lose muscle.
Mass.
Um, so that's what I haven't stopped doing that. So I still run, I still bike. Sometimes I swim. I'm not that much into swimming, but anyway, I like the challenge. But that's what I'm thinking now. That's why I'm trying to put up some muscle so it helps me as we
That's smart.
uh, grow
Yeah,
old.
say
So that's what I'm doing now. Uh, yeah,
preservation and you're planning for when I guess muscle mass loss can set in. That's smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this year, with I'm gonna turn 45 next month. Um, this year I started feeling the hormone changes and declining.
Oh, really? More hormone
Yeah.
changes in men?
Sorry.
Hormone changes in men?
Yeah.
Do tell. I don't know about that. What does that mean?
Yeah.
More.
Testosterone levels goes down.
Let me grab some popcorn and something to drink here because I've never heard about that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. And at the same time, my wife is going through, well, what you girls go now, perimenopause, which is a theme that is being talked a lot now. Um, which come on, uh, well, that's another story, and I don't have background, but yeah, I can only say, come on, that doctors didn't know that before. But anyway, so
But
she's also going through the same thing.
celebrities like I think Halle Berry is talking
Yeah,
about it as a
I
supplement.
watched.
It's good that
Yeah,
she's a platform for people to for her to talk about it as well as others because I guess you're right. It's not really talked about, and
yeah. But
emails go.
um, and the thing, well, that's another theme as well, health system here. But okay, I just will mention that we had to find a doctor that would give attention to that, because you go do the blood work and they say, oh, it's within the range. But come on, I'm not feeling well. I'm not doing the same things I used to do. And I used to do a lot as a triathlete, as an Ironman, which, come on, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was not able to do those things. But the normal doctor said, yeah, it's within the range. We cannot do anything.
Wow.
So we had to find a doctor, um, which is a naturopath, uh, and they are helping us basically. And yeah, my testosterone levels were low as I never had. So I
Oh,
had to supplement then.
yeah. Testosterone is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Testosterone decrease.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It,
Yeah.
it's mu-
I know.
it's simpler.
More than, I was.
I think it's simpler.
I was like, what else? I knew about that gentleman.
Yeah.
Men have
Well,
a testosterone level. Yeah.
but it made total difference. And yeah, so again, it's simpler. You girls have other things and other, yeah. Uh, but wow, um, it's not myself. I cannot tell you it was not myself.
And
Yeah.
are you feeling how are you feeling like more yourself now, or they're helping you with that?
Oh yes, yes, much better, much better. I'm able to go back to my normal levels, and I'm doing follow up. Um, yeah, it's back. I'm back on track.
What are they having you do for that? Are they like supplements or like
Just basically vitamins, some vitamins, and supplement testosterone. Basically, yeah, and that is enough.
oh good.
So, yeah. What I want to ask you about something you said in terms of mindset is, it seems that you have the same mindset, growing mindset from the actress to the real estate. Is that the correct assumption, or did something change in terms of mindset? Now you feel that you're different somehow.
I love mindset questions. You know what, Fernando? I don't know if I got in the line
Because
when I
it
was
seems that
in
you always
grade.
had this strong mindset,
Yes, no,
right?
yeah, I think, and I'm glad you asked that. I can remember when I was little, and I think this is what helped me to come out here to school, and then by myself, and then get into acting, which is, as people say, it's such a hard career, and then getting into real estate. I remember this is where my mindset was when I was like a kid. I remember I was in middle school, and you have physical fitness tests. I don't know, do they have them where you're from? Physical fitness tests?
I'm from Brazil.
Like in gym, do you have gym
At
class?
school, at school,
Yeah, at school.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I'm kind of old, so
Well, well, no, I mean, they have them, like, I moved to California and I learned the kids have them here too. Um, so I was in middle school and I remember there's this girl named Julie. I won't say her last name in case she's by chance listening. I'll call her Julie D.
Go,
Julie D.
Julie.
I'm gonna send her this link. I'm gonna find out where she is, and here you go, Julie. Um, it's such a great story because I think back upon it, like we had like the bent arm hang, we had sit ups, all these things that we were tested on, and then we had the 600-yard dash. Oh my!
Whoa.
And I think it's like a lap and a half of a 400 track. And
Yes, that's
I'm
correct.
like I'm a track person. I was a track star in well, high school. But I didn't know that in middle school, and I didn't think I was fast. And I was just going to run it like everybody else. They just run it and they kind of jog it in. But I had this mindset that Julie D, I almost said her name. Julie D was the fastest girl in, I don't know, 7th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, 5th grade, whatever it was. And she was the fastest girl, and nobody had ever beaten her on these yearly tests they would give us. And one year, Fernando, I said, I wanted to beat her, but I'd never no, but she was the fastest. And when you set that mindset and everybody talks about it, she's the fastest. She can't be beat. Fernando, one year I just asked myself one question. Why can't you beat her? Who are you not to beat her? Woo! Gets me excited. Woo! Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh.
So we were outside in the heat, and I remember it was like hot, because in the Midwest it gets hot and humid. I remember it was time for the race. And it's not like we were racing against each other, we were just being timed. But my mindset was like, I'm going to be in her heat. I'm going to be in her group and I'm going to beat her. Fernando, when
No.
they said on your mark and said go, I remember running and I remember I was like, who am I not to beat her? Fernando, I beat Julie D, this girl who was not beatable, just because I said, who are you not to beat her? And I said, you're going to beat her. And I beat her and everybody's like, oh my God, you beat Julie D. So when I started saying like, who are you not to? And I don't know where that comes from, but I know that I've always wanted more as a person, as a kid. I was always wanting more. I was content with things, but I always wanted more. I always wanted to move to the college, the city where I wanted to go. I wanted to get into acting, which everybody else was not doing. I wanted this and I wanted that. I wanted to invest back then, but I didn't know what investing was because they don't teach it in school. That's a whole nother conversation. But with that
Yeah.
mindset, I beat Julie. uh, I remember I applied for school out here, and I don't know if it's because I was out of state, but I wasn't accepted. But I didn't take no for an answer. If you tell me no, Fernando, I'm going to find a way to make it a yes. I still picked up, moved all the way out here by my little happy self. I drove 16 hours the first day, 14 the second, and 12 the third by myself, and stayed overnight in hotels with a little trailer pulled behind a little U-Haul behind my car. My dad helped pay for the little hitch to pull it on out here. And I came even though I had a no. And my plan was to get out here and reapply again. I got out here, and within that first month, I applied to big college out here. And I found out later on that I was unanimously voted in by the department that I was applying for. I spoke to one of the department heads, and she said, "You were unanimously voted in." And I don't know if it was because I now had a California um, like address,
Address.
and they just didn't accept as many out of state people, and that could have been it. But I wasn't going to take no. I'm going to still move out there, and I had a no,
Anyway, yeah.
but I was going to make it a yes, and it was a unanimous yes. Coming into real estate, when I was on Rod's podcast, he asked me like why I didn't start like what I think he asked me. I don't know if it made it into the cut, but um, he asked me like why didn't I start with smaller deals? Because my first deal was with mentors before him. It was 118 units, and there's nothing wrong with doing smaller units. But my mindset came from them, and they were doing big deals, so that's what I learned. That's all I knew. I had no prior real estate experience. I know a lot of people come from like single family homes. I didn't have that. I wasn't doing, fix and flips and all of that. I was new to real estate, but I knew I wanted to invest. And I'm so glad I chose investing in real estate. but that's what my mindset was. So then my second property was 148 units. And people are like, wow, it's a big property. And I'm like, I guess it is when I understand that people are doing like, 20, 30 units, nothing wrong with that. But I guess it was the mindset that was before me and I latched onto that. So I believed that I could do that. Would I do something like 50, 70, 80 units? Sure. I just was going with what was taught to me.
Yeah.
If that
And you
makes sense.
see, yes, and you see, you attract. That's what I also believe, that compliments. I also believe in God, and the energy that you put out there. And I can share also a quick story how I ended up here. Back in 2008, I moved here for 1 year. I so I felt My wife and I, we fell in love with the region, and it was 1 year, and then we
Mhm.
had to go back to Brazil. But
Mm.
from 2008 until I was back here in 2022, we had that fixed in our minds. We want to go back. And it was here, Washington, exactly the same region. So tell me about wanting something so bad, and in terms of resilience, and make it happen.
Well, one of the things I could say, well, there's a number of things, but like what I just mentioned, I got a no from the college when I was at home, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "How dare you say no to me?" I got the letter, and I was like, "What? You can't accept me?" I remember looking at it. I was like, "No, I'm still gonna go." And I'm like, "But you got to know." I'm like, "No, I'm still gonna go." I
Yeah.
moved with a no from the university out here. It's not like it- and I said, "No, I'm gonna go." And I moved all the way out here. I came out here ahead of time, found an apartment, held it with $100 deposit, and my friend was going to come out here with me. But then in the meantime, when we went back, because I was going to move like 3 months later, he got a job in Chicago, and I'm like, okay, so now I don't have a roommate. And I said, I'm still going to go, and I moved out here by myself, and I covered all that rent by myself, and I applied again, and I got accepted unanimously. So that's one. Um, oh God, one time I was doing this role in a play, and it was like an 8-page monologue. Do you know what a monologue? You know what a monologue is?
Yeah, I know, I know. I would never do it.
It was 8 pages, and in the entire play, I think I had the longest monologue, and I wanted that role so bad, and I had seen, oh my gosh, I'd seen so many people do it on stage when it was in Broadway, and, I saw somebody recorded it, and then they put it on PBS, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so great," and I really wanted it. Long story short, I remember I went and auditioned, and I got it, and I just remember preparing for it. Part of me was like, "Oh, you can't, oh my god, it's just too much." Trying to memorize that and learn it all, and I know another girl who was like the understudy, she had done it. I'm like, "Okay, I can do that." Um, Doing that, and in another role, we did Steel Magnolia. Oh my god, we did another play, and we did it up in Hollywood, and it was a very wordy play, which as actors, one of our jobs is to memorize text. It's not like we're reading, cue cards like on a night TV, like a night show where the hosts get to read the cue cards. Um, or it's not like a sitcom where you could do take after take. So
Okay.
I just remember, oh my gosh, like just having to just to have the mindset to do that. Uh, I've had other friends who have the same thing going up a lot of lead against a lot of lead actors, thinking, "Oh my God, there's just so many things in acting that I can think of that you have to rely on yourself and just having the mindset to do it." Where and especially in theater, because my background is in theater, you're live on set. You don't get a second take. You're out there. You're out there on stage. It's like do or die. You don't get to go back into the
Wow.
say take two. I forgot what what the question was at this point. I don't know if it's answering your question, but mindset is very important for what I do as an artist, and then also for real estate.
Oh,
But
yes.
sometimes just saying,
Yes.
"You told me no, I'm gonna show you yes." That's kinda how I feel.
And the preparation, right? What you're saying also, as well, what I'm getting is you have to prepare to be
Mhm.
there, right?
Yes. what's the saying they say? Preparation plus, opportunity equals success. So you prepare, you prepare, you prepare. And when you have the opportunity, like I had to move here, like I had to get that role, like I had to come into these bigger properties, then you'll have success. But you have to prepare, So like Rod says, educate yourself. So I educate
Yeah.
myself in acting classes. That's what I came out here to go to school for, preparing, working with casting directors for when those opportunities come up. Real estate, being in a mentorship program. Um, the mentorship program I was in before Rod's, because I didn't know about Rod's yet, told me about Rod. They mentioned Rod. I'm like, who's this Rod guy? They mentioned Tony Robbins, who I'd heard about, but now I started to look into him and really know what he was about. So just really learning, being on these calls with Rod, being on these calls with you. Even scripture talks about it, study to show thyself approved. And that could
Wow.
mean just knowing, scripture. It's scriptural. When somebody asks you about the faith that you believe in, you should be prepared with an answer. And when somebody, asks me why I'm involved in this asset, or why when I'm studying for a character, study so you can prepare and do that role. Ask any great actor. Ask Al Pacino, what did you do to be in Scarface? I love Anthony Hopkins. He spoke at my graduation. Robert De Niro spoke at one of my other graduations. Shy guy, and they said, be prepared. He might give a short speech. And he did, because he's really shy. And I didn't know that about him.
Wow.
All of his roles, you best believe that he is, being prepared for when the opportunity comes. And then he's successful in those roles. And I think that pertains to a lot of things in life.
Yeah. In terms of preparation, I am experiencing something now. I'm also, while waiting on these changes on real estate, I'm engaged in another side hustle with another warrior, and that's what I want to mention.
Yes.
Partnership. That's my first one, and bringing the best of two different people. It's a nice combination, and I'm learning a lot about preparation because I'm usually a more okay. I want to do this. I go. I just go, 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 and about preparation. Yeah, that's one theme now that today I'm learning a lot. So that's
That's
awesome to hear.
that's good, that you are learning that about yourself. From my first mentorship, there's a girl and I, we worked together. And she's more of a shoot first, aim later. And I'm more of a let me aim, let me get it, let me line it up, and then I shoot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So she likes to shoot first, and I'm more like let me prepare first, and then I aim and shoot. But also too, I'm glad I'm in this program because they say sometimes you can be on the sidelines too long. A lot of people I've heard say like, I haven't done my first deal yet, and they've been in the program for a few years or whatever, and nothing wrong with that. But I know for myself, sometimes I'll be on the sideline a long time, and I'm like, no, you need to jump in, Erin. You've been preparing, now jump in, because sometimes you can prepare too long, and it's kind of becomes a safety net.
Yeah.
So sometimes you
Yeah.
just gotta jump in, get on your first deal that makes sense and pencils out. I'm not saying to do it haphazardly, but sometimes fear can just have you waiting in the wings, because part of the after we're, preparing, some of it is actually on the job learning. And I've had to tell myself that, okay, you're preparing now, partner for where your weaknesses are, like Rod says. You know what I mean? Whatever you're weak in, partner with somebody who's stronger in that area, and then and work together and trust. Rod always talks about faking it until you make it in certain areas. I always say faith it until you make it. I have to have faith
Mm,
in some of these people that I work with, and trust in them after vetting them, of course. But if we're going to be in this program together, or any program, you vet the people, but then you have to just let go after a while. And as we in acting, They say after you've studied and prepared for your role, you have to just let it go and you have to free fall into it and just go. Whew.
Whoa. Oh, I like that.
Free fall is
Okay.
for some people. So at some
Yeah,
point, I have to free fall. You got to
it's
free
like
fall.
preparing,
Do
and
all you
then
can.
yeah,
You let,
you're into it, and you
yes,
just let it flow. Okay.
let it flow. You have to let the character that we've built and trusted and trained and coached with, and you've prepared the accent, the inner life. Who is this person? Who am I now? Who is it? You have to just trust it and let it go. Because if you don't, people are going to just see you that you've rehearsed a role and it doesn't look lived through. So in real estate, at some point, you have to, after you've vetted the people you're working with, like Meryl talks about, really, and Rod talks about, asking the questions with people you partner with. And then, signing that, memorandum of understanding, that Meryl talks about. But you have to, at some point, trust.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll just stand on the outside forever. I mean, I'll just speak for myself, and I'm preaching to the choir here. I would just stand on the outside, you know? And I felt that, recently. I'm like, are you standing on the outside? You're not jumping in on this. And I'm like, do you need to prepare some more? Or what is it that you're not sure about yet? Figuring out what that is, addressing it or talking to it and fleshing it out. And then I'm like, okay, I feel like I've found what I needed and I'm ready now. And then just having faith and trusting that it will all work.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Yes.
if he brought me to it, he's not going to leave me alone. He's not going to bring me this far just to leave me high and dry, if that makes sense.
Of course it does.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
really
My higher
profound.
power already knows even before I ask him or tell him what my hopes and dreams and wishes are. But he wants us to come to him, especially if he is, for me, he is my father who's not here on earth. He's my heavenly father. And every good parent wants to do for their children. So if I believe he's my father, he wants what's good for me. So
Yeah. But as any good father, which is something that we do, we have to guide somehow and
absolutely.
let them walk the path.
Yeah.
So yeah, and all of that you're saying, everything you said, we discussed so far, um, reminds me of some of the several deep conversations that I usually have with my wife. And now that we are both in this paths to always try our best, to excel ourselves, we were talking the other day about grit.
Ooh.
And she's reading this book from an author called Amanda Duckworth. Yes, I think that's the right name. And the title is Grit: The Power of Passion and Perseverance.
Ooh.
And
Who's
the definition of grit is mindset, and refers to the sustained passion and perseverance for long-term goals, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. So I can see a lot on what you just shared. You have a lot of grit,
grit? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay.
and that leads me to the question that we were after the discussion. I asked her, "Okay, you are reading the book, so maybe the author will mention about it." And my question was to her and now to you: do you believe that you were born with grit, or that you develop grit over time?
Um, I could see it going both ways. But I think it can be developed. One of the things I do now, when I'm not on set, which is more and more recently, is I work with kids. I'm an educator. And I can see when you speak life to a child and you encourage them, you can help them to develop tenacity and grit, helping them to see like their strengths. And yeah, I believe that grit can be, you know, developed in a person. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Afterwards, we went after the answer, and yes, yes, it can be developed. Yeah,
Hmm.
um, which is great. And another conclusion was the grit is what fuels us, and the gut feeling is what helps us show the way. That makes sense to you?
Hmm. Rod always talks about your gut, and I think Tony does too. And I know that from my own personal experience. I was just on a call yesterday with a underwriter, and she was talking about keep it real estate. She was talking about a deal that she was in, and feeling that a deal that some people are their deals are kind of going south right now. They're a little bit rocky, and she had a feeling about it when she was coming into the deal, and she didn't listen to her gut, and now she's having to deal with that. Yeah, your gut, the way we're put together, it's almost like a north star. It can guide you if you listen to it. If you choose not to, then that's at your own it can be at your own peril, I've heard. But yeah, your gut, the way we're wired. Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Right, right, right. This part now is something that I love because it's a portion where I think it's apex of everything we discussed, and I want to jumpstart even further your brain, if you allow me.
Sure.
So my question about that is, what would you do today to accomplish in 1 year what you have built your entire life?
Mm. What I would do today is to hunker down with laser focus and not listen to what they wanted me to be. Um, because I feel like part of my life has been trying to appease other people. Like my mom had wanted me to be a lawyer, and I had no desire to be a lawyer. She didn't approve of me coming out here for school, and I let that kind of, you know, settle into my to me. But I would hunker down on what it is that I want to do, because that's the true meaning of success. People say you're so good at working with kids. You're good at this and that. Oh, you're so successful. That's their success. Success for me is about what my goals are, and if I'm achieving them, and if they're helping other people. But if I'm successful to other people because I've achieved things that they put for me, that's not my success. So for me, I would really get laser focused, cut out 80% of the minutia that's been in the way, and really focus on that 20, as they talk about in Dan Sullivan's book. 10x is easier than 2x. Really honing in on that, because the 20% is what really propels you. Um, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
I love it.
And I would keep at it. You know what I mean? Just keep at it. And I would always be encouraging myself when I falter, or when things are like, encourage myself to be resilient, just to get back up.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in a year.
No, totally makes sense. Resonates a lot with a lot of things that I've seen past and recently. Yes. No, I love it. Um, what is your version of success?
um, I guess for me, I kind of just mentioned it. Achieving goals that I have set. I feel like I've achieved some goals that other people had wanted me to do. And in their eyes, I'm successful. But achieving some of the things that I was created to do, and that's been put in my heart and my spirit to do. Um, uh, and I guess one of the things that I always want to do is I want to be a servant. I know that Jesus was a servant, and I want to serve people. And I feel that I'm doing that in real estate, because I'm really looking at senior living right now, and senior living is something I'm really excited about because, everybody looks at the returns. The returns are great. They're fabulous. Don't get me wrong. But they say if you can help other people, you will help yourself. And if I'm giving those people, what was Rod called the silver tsunami, those people a really good, clean place and well maintained place to live, I feel like I'm being successful and I'm also serving that population. On the other end of this spectrum, you have people that I live in LA, there's so many homeless people. Where I'm from in the Midwest, there's just all over the United States, there's populations of people that don't have a lot of money in multi mobile home parks. That's the other end of the spectrum where people maybe only have a few $100s a month um, to spend on their housing. If I can provide a really good mobile home park and community that's well maintained in a asset class that people look down upon and make them feel proud that they can live there, and some of them might own their own mobile home, they just rent the land from us. So they are a homeowner technically. I can help them. I'm serving that population. That makes me feel really good. Really good. Not like I'm just in real estate for, the returns are great or, the money that it can bring, you know. I feel like that I'm helping people and it's not just about me. Cuz sure, as an actress, Fernando, when I moved out here, it was all about Erin Frigo. It was all about me, honey. I wanted to be famous and this and that and all the who, that's a whole nother story. But I realized that, this life is not all about me. So I, not only in real estate, I just use as an example, but I want to be a servant. And if I can do that, um, I'm hoping someday to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant.
It seems that what you're saying is that makes you feel really happy.
Yeah, it gives my life a little bit of purpose.
Yeah, purpose is everything.
Yeah.
So what would you put in a billboard then?
I would put something like uh, dream bigger, don't settle, keep going. You're almost there. It gives me, the vision of that. You've seen that meme where the guy's digging in the tunnel. He's chipping away at the rock, and he gets to the rock, and it's just a thin little piece of rock. And on the other side are his dreams, his hopes, his goals. And he just stops. He just ran out of fuel or ran out of energy, as we talked about, or ran out of hope. So when people, when you quit, and you're almost there. So I would just encourage people to keep going. The
I
time's going to
agree.
pass anyway, as they say. So what are you going to do? Did you hear that loud car on Venice Boulevard? Oh my God, that was so loud. Keep going. Yeah, it was so loud. Oh my gosh. Just keep going and don't give up. Don't settle.
Yeah,
When I was with my friend last week, I feel like she's almost settled, kind of complacent. And I'm not saying it to knock her, um, but it's okay to dream and to dream big. If
it
you
is.
if you have a higher power, whatever your higher power is for you, that is as big as mine is, he's like, try me, dream big. You wanted to come out here to use, okay, graduated, 4 years on my own, supported myself, debt free, no loans. I don't owe anything to that college. Um, I'm not somebody who is like hoping to get my loans forgiven because he made it so I could pay my way through school. Um, just he's like, just try me. And not like he's a genie, but he's saying, I am your father and I want what's best for you. And I see your hopes and your dreams and lay them at my feet and let daddy be daddy.
Well,
Dream bigger. We talk about it. Sometimes my pastor says some of you are asking, you're thinking, you're thinking inside of the box. God can do anything. 2 years ago, Fernando, I would have never thought I would be where I am right now. A few properties in, talking about this to you in a awesome mentorship program. while I'm waiting for, me to book my next acting job, while I'm, hopefully, going to invest in some of these great other assets. I'm an investor. I'm
Yeah.
talking to you, and we're in different parts of the world about incredible things on a podcast that you created. And I'm so happy you have this podcast just to have awesome conversations. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you for, I'm going to say it now. Thank you for having me on this. This is like a podcast that I've never been on before.
Whoa. Come
Yeah.
on.
I mean, like I've been on
I,
frozen, but
I
this is great. It's
don't do
it's
that. I'm a brother. I cry easily.
Oh no, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I got to give a person flowers where they need flowers. I applaud you for doing this because this is like I love the title. Like, it's conversations and it's not a cookie cutter podcast. So,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with those, but this one I'm just like just chilling, hanging out, talking. I mean, next time I'll
Yeah.
pop some popcorn and just chill and bring
Whoa.
some, some pH balanced water to chug down. No, I mean, it's really cool. It's just like refreshing. It's out of the box and I love it.
Yeah. And I envision one day, well, I'm doing firstly really for myself, what's the word? Sorry, selfish. So at first, I'm really selfish doing because I wanted to put myself out there in an uncomfortable situation and grow because I like to communicate. But then I know amazing people like you that have a lot of content, a lot of experience and knowledge to be shared. And I knew it would be a great content to be out there.
Oh,
But I envision that one day the secondary outcome of that is I can have a place and have you over and have that beautiful studio where we can, be there because I'm much more of an in-person
yeah.
person than virtual. But okay, for now, let's leverage technology and
I
do it like that because the important thing is the content. So yeah, in terms of everything that we discussed, dreams,
That's so great.
motivation,
Yeah.
grit. That's what I envision, and well, I believe we'll get to that. But yeah,
You know what? I believe that too. You will have that, Fernando, because you're speaking it into existence. You're putting it out there, which you're having faith enough to say that. Some people would keep that to themselves, but what you put out
yeah,
there is starts to like things will start to come to you to make it happen. I believe you will have
yeah,
that. And like in a studio,
and
right?
you,
Like studio, your own studio where you have people kind of like what
yeah,
he has.
and yeah,
You
and you
will.
will be there again. That's why I mentioned that.
No. There you are.
Okay, okay, yeah. So I said, and you will be there again. That's why I said you
I'll be where again?
that. You said you love it, which is amazing, and I'm saying if even if that well
You mean on
when that happens and I have a place, I
Oh
will
yes.
have you over again.
Oh, sorry, there was a glitch. Oh, I would love to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the connection froze here for a bit. Don't
Yeah.
worry, no
That would
issues.
be great to be in person.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I
Any
love
last thoughts or messages?
um uh thoughts or messages.
Books or even recommend books or podcasts, whatever.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
space now.
I'm a real big fan of Dan Sullivan, so I would say, 10x is easier than 2x. Who Not
Dan
How.
Sullivan. Okay.
Yeah, Dan Sullivan, with his writer, I think Benjamin Hardy. 10x is easier than 2x. Who Not How. He also has the 25-year framework, which is looking out at things over a 25-year span. Um, yeah, so that David Bach has really good books like The Automatic Millionaire. Of
Okay.
course, of course, there's Think and Grow Rich. Rich Dad Poor Dad. But I also would recommend. Oh, there's so many people, but uh, mm, if a person needs motivation, Les Brown is great. Earl Nightingale, he has, you can pull it up on YouTube. It's, I was just listening to it again. It's called the Strongest Secret. So good. It's like,
Whoa.
it'll blow your mind in the first 2 minutes, and you won't be able to stop listening to it. It's great for our line of work in real estate, just in life itself. But the strangest secret by Earl Nightingale. He was a actor, motivationist. He was also, I guess, on a radio show back in the day, like in the 1950s. Um, just yeah, he and a really unique note voice. He was, I think he was on a radio show or something like that. But he's he's incredible. And listen to that and tell me if that doesn't change you. The strangest secret. Yeah, and I would just encourage people to dream big. Don't stay at the bottom. Keep reaching for the top. Um, there's a lot of podcasts I could, mention, but I just encourage people. I want to be, known as an encourager along with the other things that I do. And when somebody says no, make it a yes. Go after what you've been dreaming about, and actually just dream bigger. Because they say, we only use what 10% of our minds. I think that we're capable of doing much more than what we're actually doing. Oh, 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 oh. Can I
Whoa.
Can I I wanted to share this with you. You could chop it out if you would like. This
No,
particular
never.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
uh, uh, Listen, I want this is the I want this to be the easiest as possible. So I'm leveraging technology, and unless you tell me you don't want something, there is gonna be unabridged, uncut version.
Maybe just the beginning when I'm trying to, like, get situated, that first, like, minute and a half, you could chop that out because I didn't even know we were recording. Yeah, seriously, like, that first part, please, yes, until I'm focused with you. I didn't know we were recording. Anyway, so you might know this. This is a poem by Marianne Williamson. Um,
Remember that I was not educated here in the U.S., so maybe I
right,
don't know.
okay. Well, okay, this is a poem, and we've read it. It was read to us in our acting class, and it pertains to a lot of things. But for those people who are, fearful and trying to do more for themselves or wanting to go to another level, um, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? And that's what I asked myself back in the day with Julie. Who am I not to beat her? For you are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Some of us always try to make ourselves smaller and quiet. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Wow, wow. As you read that again, I got goosebumps. And I remember two things. My daughter, which is 3 years old, and she already shows what a personality. And I have no doubt that she keeps that way. She will reach any heights that she wants. And the recently book from Mel Robbins, Let Them, in
Let
terms of allowing others to steal your thunder, or she doesn't phrase like that, but anyway, um, you give power to others. So that's what I remembered as you read.
Yeah. Hmm.
Amazing, amazing. Erin, I'm really touched. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you
Um,
so much for
Several times I had goosebumps while you were saying things. So you
having.
shared extremely powerful things. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really mean that. This was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you soon.
In the
And
studio. And shout out to Julie D.
yes, we do. Oh my God. Bye, Fernando.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Palco meu treu, que é a vida noite após noite, dia após dia. Caiu, levanta e vai em frente. Sai do passado porque a vida é um presente. Construa o seu muro, reforça o seu futuro. Abraçando os amigos, amando, deixando o legado. Não esquecendo dos inimigos. Braço curto e até mesmo os encostados. Segue alerta para quem está agora do seu lado. Larga a mão de ser cansada, dualidade, antagonismo. A crueldade está no mesmo organismo. É o amor que se esvai, a rotina que dói. Sorrateiro, coração que desfaz e corrói. Pense na árvore que é alta e imponente. Sofre com o vento, enverga, fica impotente. Saudável não quebra desde criança. É o que vem na minha primeira lembrança. Com chuva ou sol, no sorte do farol. Frio ou calor, prossegue com ardor. Segue sólido e focado em seu caminho em direção ao céu. A vida é um sopro.